What if her rejection was just a test you already passed? Picture this. You muster the courage to ask someone out, heart pounding like a drum solo at a rock concert. She says, "No, I'm not interested." But then, plot twist. She keeps texting you, laughing at your terrible puns and dropping hints like a clumsy spy. What's going on? Is she playing 4D chess with your emotions, or is this rejection not what it seems? What if her no was just a secret test you've already passed, and you're now starring in a rom-com you didn't audition for? Let S unravel this mystery with the enthusiasm of a detective who S had one too many espressos. Let's set the scene. You're at a party and you ask her to grab coffee sometime. She smiles, says, "Sorry, I'm not looking to date right now," and you nod, ready to retreat with your dignity intact. But then the next day she sends you a meme about a dog wearing sunglasses. You reply, and suddenly you're in a 3-hour text marathon about everything from pizza toppings to alien linguistics. She's flirty, engaged, and definitely not acting like someone who just slammed the door on your hopes. Is she messing with you, or is there a hidden rule book you didn't read? Let's propose something wild. What if her rejection was a test, like a cosmic pop quiz, and you're already acing it without knowing? Here's the absurd hypothesis. Every time a woman says no but keeps engaging, it's not rejection, it's a secret initiation into a game called Prove You Re-Worth It. The no isn't a stop sign, it's a hurdle in an obstacle course designed to test your resilience, wit, and ability to not take things personally. Pass the test, and you unlock the next level, where she's suddenly interested. Fail, and you're stuck in the friend zone, doomed to like her Instagram stories forever. But what if you've already passed, and her continued interest is the universe handing you a gold star? Let's break this down with some science, psychology, and a sprinkle of chaos. First, let's talk human behavior. Rejection is rarely black and white. Studies in social psychology suggest people often say no, not because they mean it forever, but because of context, timing, mood, or even needing to feel in control. Imagine her brain as a supercomputer running a program called Risk Assessment 2.0. When you ask her out, it's scanning for red flags. Is this guy pushy? Will he sulk if I say no? Is he worth my time? Her no might be a default response to buy time while the program collects more data. Meanwhile, her continued interest, those texts, those laughs, is the computer saying, "Preliminary results look promising. Keep testing." Now, let's add some neuroscience. When someone rejects you but stays engaged, their brain might be wrestling with cognitive dissonance. She said no because her prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-maker, was like, "Slow down. We don't know this guy." But her limbic system, the emotional party animal, is screaming, "He's funny, and he knows the difference between your and your." So she keeps interacting, driven by dopamine hits from your witty banter. It is not a test in the mean girl sense. It is her brain running a background check while her heart is already RSVPing to your hypothetical coffee date. Let's get game theoretical. In evolutionary terms, mate selection is like a high-stakes poker game. Women, historically, faced higher risks in relationships. Think pregnancy, childcare, or caveman-era abandonment. So they developed strategies to filter out flakes. A no, followed by interest, could be a bluff, testing if you'll fold, aka give up, or call. Stay cool and keep engaging. If you sulk or ghost, you fail. But if you take the rejection in stride, keep being your charming self. And don't act like her no ruined your life. You're signaling confidence and emotional stability. Congrats, you're passing the test. But here is where it gets weird. What if the test isn't even about you? What if it's her testing herself? Maybe she's not sure she's ready to date, or she's got baggage from a past relationship that's yelling, "Don't trust anyone." Her no is a safety net, letting her explore her feelings without committing. By staying interested, she's dipping her toes in the pool while clutching the lifeguard whistle. You're not just passing her test, You're helping her pass her own, proving she can trust her instincts again. Mind blown? Mine too. Let's scale this up with some absurdity. Imagine this test dynamic isn't just one woman, it's a universal law like gravity or taxes. Every rejection is a secret handshake, and if you play it right, you're in. You ask your boss for a promotion, she says no, but then she assigns you a high-profile project. You pitch a book deal, get rejected, but the editor keeps emailing you feedback. Suddenly, the world feels like a giant escape room where no means keep going. You start seeing rejections as invitations, and your confidence skyrockets. You're unstoppable, strutting through life like you've cracked the code to the Matrix. But hold up, there's a catch. If every no is a test, how do you know when it's a real no? Not everyone's playing this game. Some rejections are just rejections. If you misread the signals and keep pushing, you risk becoming that guy, the one who doesn't take a hint and ends up with a restraining order. So, let's add some chaos theory. Each interaction is a butterfly flapping its wings. Her no plus interest could lead to a date, a friendship, or a restraining order. Your job is to read the room, not assume you're in a rom-com. Social cues, like her texting frequency or body language, are your compass. Ignore them, and you're lost in the woods with a broken GPS. Now, let's talk consequences. If you treat her rejection as a test and keep engaging, you might win her over. Studies show persistence, when respectful, can signal commitment. Think of those rom-com montages where the guy keeps showing up with coffee and charm. But there's a dark side. If you're wrong about the test, you're investing time and emotions in a dead end. Plus, there's the psychological toll. Constantly decoding her signals feels like solving a Rubik's cube in the dark. And what if you pass the test, start dating, and realize she's always testing you? Congrats, you've signed up for a relationship where every disagreement feels like a pop quiz. Let's zoom out to the big picture. If rejections are tests, society's a giant game board. Dating becomes less about instant yeses and more about navigating ambiguity. Economies could shift. Imagine pickup artists going bankrupt because no doesn't mean game over. Pop culture rewrites itself. Rom-coms now star heroes who respect boundaries while decoding subtle hints. Even science gets weird. Psychologists start studying rejection test theory, and X posts explode with debates about whether no ever means no. The world's messier, but maybe more honest. So, what's the explosive conclusion? Her rejection wasn't a wall. It was a door, slightly ajar, waiting for you to knock again. You passed the test by not crumbling, by staying true to yourself, and by reading her signals without turning into a stalker. But the real win isn't her saying yes. It's realizing that rejection, test or not, doesn't define you. You're not a puppet in her game or a hero in a rom-com. You're just a guy who asked, got a no, and kept living. So you text her back, keep the banter light, and let the universe decide what's next. Maybe she says yes. Maybe she doesn't. Either way, you're already winning, because the real test was believing in yourself all along.